Am I the asshole for skipping my sister's wedding to spend the day with my grandma? This happened a few years ago, but it's still brought up every so often by family members, so I'm curious, am I the asshole? A little backstory for context. My sister, we'll call her Eve, got married at 18 for the first time. She decided to get married after a fight with our parents and didn't invite them to her wedding. I was the only one from our family who she invited. It was a courthouse wedding and I'm the one who gave her away. That marriage lasted a couple years and they had one kid. Fast forward. Eve is now 27, is engaged to, we'll call him Adam, 29 male. Eve, Adam, and Eve's kid are all living with my grandma, who is 76 years old and widowed. Neither Adam or Eve have jobs. We're not a wealthy family, so honestly, other than grandma's social security and Eve's child support, I'm not sure how they are feeding themselves. They decide to have a small wedding at grandma's house with just family. Less than 20 people. My grandma is the one doing most of the work to get things ready. Menu planning, figuring out how to fit everyone, preparing the food, cleaning the house to top bottom, etc. My grandma's neighbor and best friend has been coming over most days and helping. Grandma doesn't drive, so the neighbor takes her to the store to get what is needed for the wedding. My grandma is paying for everything with the promise that Eve will pay her back after the wedding. A few people declined the wedding invite, so my grandma invited her neighbor to come to the ceremony. Not the meal after, just the ceremony. The neighbor happily accepted. Eve wasn't excited about the neighbor coming but didn't say no. During this time, Adam got a job. They secured an apartment that was going to be ready shortly after the wedding and things were on track. 1 week before the wedding, Eve had a huge tantrum and canceled the wedding. She accused my grandma of taking over the wedding and not doing what Eve wanted. She was upset that the decorations and food wasn't what she wanted, even though she was there every day but never helped with any of it. She was upset that grandma invited someone that Eve didn't even know. Once again, Eve was there every day and the neighbor came over almost every day to help with the wedding. Adam and Eve moved out of grandma's house that day. By some lucky miracle, the apartment just happened to be ready early. How fortunate. My grandma was heartbroken. Not only had she done all this work and put out all this money, she was being blamed for ruining Eve's wedding. Grandma was worried that she would lose the relationship with Eve's kid after having them live with her for almost a year. I live an hour and a half away from my grandma, so I don't get to see her as often as I wish I could. But we talk almost every day. I told her that since my husband and I had taken the whole weekend off, we'd bring our child and stay the weekend with her. We'd eat the food from the wedding and enjoy the decorations and wine. The wedding was supposed to be on Saturday. She canceled it on the Sunday before. On Wednesday, 3 days after Eve canceled the wedding, I get a text from Eve saying that the wedding is back on. It's going to be in a park that's a 45-minute drive from my grandma's house. I call my grandma and she hasn't been told that the wedding is still going to happen. I tell my grandma that I will drive her to the wedding if she wants to go. Grandma texts my sister about it. My sister texts back and says, if I wanted you to be there, I would have sent you the text. Once again, my grandma is heartbroken. My grandma tells me to go to the wedding, that it's the right thing to do, that she's my only sister, blah blah blah. I don't go to the wedding. I politely decline the invite, stating that I already have plans that I can't/won't change. I spend the weekend with my grandma and we have a blast eating and drinking and talking shit about Eve. I don't feel like I'm the asshole, but every so often someone in my family will bring it up, not my grandma because she's awesome. So am I the asshole? Just to add, Eve never paid my grandma for anything. She stopped talking to grandma and doesn't let her kid have a relationship with grandma anymore. None of this is out of character for Eve and everyone just lets her do whatever because it's easier than calling her out. It's been 5 years since the wedding, and family members will say offhanded things like, you really should make things right with your sister really wanted you at her wedding, or well, you know how Eve is. I've always been the peacekeeper of the family and just tried not to rock the boat. I'm still that way most of the time. Eve, Adam, and their 2 kids are now living with my mom, who is also widowed. I no longer have a relationship with my sister or mom due to something different, worse, even by my grandma's standards they did. But that's a whole different subreddit. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next story.